The Moretti mansion had quieted. The mourners had left in their sleek black cars, the lingering scent of cigar smoke and spilled whiskey clinging to the halls. The chandeliers still burned, casting pale gold light across the marble floors, but the rooms felt hollow, like a stage stripped of its audience. Eva sat alone in the drawing room, her hands folded in her lap, her back perfectly straight despite the exhaustion pulling at her bones. Her veil lay discarded beside her, the comb bent slightly where she had removed it too quickly. She had endured enough of the stares, the whispers, the soft touches from women who cared more about appearances than grief. And now, for the first time that day, silence wrapped around her. But silence in this house was never safe. Footsteps came first, measured, heavy, deliberate. Not the shuffle of servants. Not the brisk stride of a capo. This rhythm belonged to only one man, Luca. Her stomach tightened. She kept her eyes fixed on the fire burning low in the grate, as if by ignoring him she could make him pass. But he didn't. The footsteps drew closer until she could feel his presence at the threshold. The air shifted, heavy charged. Her skin prickled. She turned her head slightly, enough to see him in the corner of her vision. He stood in the doorway, his black suit immaculate, tie tight at his throat, jacket hanging open as though he'd been wearing it too long. His face was carved from stone, sharp cheekbones, hard jaw, eyes dark and unreadable. His hair, usually slicked back, had loosened at the edges, strands falling near his temple. He looked untouchable, unforgiving. Eva's lips parted, a soft breath slipping free. She had not spoken to him, not truly, since the night Alessandro was killed. Not at the hospital, not at the funeral. He had avoided her, avoided even looking at her. Now he stepped into the room. The silence stretched taut as wire until he finally spoke. "You should leave." Eva blinked, her composure faltering for only a second before she gathered herself. "This is my home now." His jaw ticked, sharper and harsher than she had ever seen. "It was my brother's home," he said, clipped. "Your brother's," she repeated softly. "Yes." His gaze cut to hers like a blade. She felt pinned by it, her throat tightening. He didn't blink. He didn't soften. He only watched, as though she were a stain he could not scrub away. "You say his name too easily." "Alessandro was my husband," she said, her voice trembling but steady. At the sound of the name, his jaw locked again, a small tick she recognized. He knew she had seen it. Her heart hammered, but she pressed on. He deserves to be remembered. Luca took 2 steps closer, his shoes whispering against the floor. He loomed over her, a shadow falling across her where she sat today. "Do not speak his name to me," he said. "Not in this house. Not to me. You think by silencing me, you can erase what he meant. I don't want to erase him," Luca snapped, his voice rising. "I want to erase you." The words hit her like a slap. Her chest constricted, but she forced her chin up, meeting his glare with quiet defiance. "Do you think I wanted this?" she whispered. "You wanted everything that came with him," Luca said, each word dripping with disdain. "The name, the power, the safety of being a Moretti bride. Don't stand there and pretend otherwise." Eva swallowed hard. She wanted to shout, to claw through the walls he had built around himself. But the fire burned low, crackling softly, and all she could manage was a whisper. "You don't know me." "I don't need to know you," Luca said, each syllable sharp as glass. "I only need to remember that my brother is dead, and you are the reason why." The silence that followed was suffocating. Eva's nails dug into her palms where they rested in her lap. She wanted to weep, but she would not give him the satisfaction. She straightened her back, her voice steady. "I loved him." Luca's jaw clenched so tightly she thought it might crack. He turned his face away, unwilling to look at her. The silence was louder than words, more final than any dismissal. He simply stood there, rigid, staring into the shadows of the room as though she were nothing. Finally, he moved. His voice was flat, hollow, carrying no warmth at all. "Stay out of my way, Eva. That's the only way you'll survive this house." With that, he turned and left, his footsteps fading back into the cavernous halls. Eva sat frozen in her chair, the fire's glow flickering across her pale face. Her heart beat painfully in her chest, her body trembling from the force of holding herself together. She had survived the funeral. She had survived the wake. But now, in the cold shadow of Luca Moretti, she wondered if she would survive at all. The mansion has fallen silent once more, but the shadows still hold secrets, and the tension between Eva and Luca is far from over. What happens next in this dark tale? You'll have to stay with us to find out. If you want to uncover the next chapter of the Moretti story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. so you never miss the twists and secrets that lie ahead. Turn on notifications, and you'll be the first to step back into the shadows of the mansion when the story continues. The Moretti saga has only just begun. Are you ready for what comes next?